Oi, 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 YouTube. It has been a long time since we have done one of these videos, but welcome back. Of course, I hope you've unclenched your jaw, and you've had your water with some caffeine. Of course, get your coffee. Look, today we're talking about the 5.7.0 PTB. Now, for those of you uninitiated, PTB means Public Test Build. This is only available to Steam users. This is a test, of course, to be sure there are no major game-breaking bugs before it goes live in predictably about 2 weeks, so sometime around like the 27th or whatever week that is. You get it, right? It'll be a few weeks. But the biggest thing that we're talking about today is going to be the Haddenfield Rework, the Hemorrhage Rework, Ghostface, Circle of Healing, Nerf, and Legion. So let's dive right in. Going forward, we do have the visual update for Haddenfield. If you catch us on twitch.tv/DyllonKG later today, we're going to be going through Haddenfield very slowly. We're going to be like exploring it and talking about all totem spawns, where gens are, what's changed. It's going to be great. We're also going to be making a YouTube video on that. In general, the difficulty rating for survivors has been removed. Survivors all virtually play the same. Their perks are the only modifier, so there's no reason to rate them independently of each other. Difficulty ratings for killers are now easy, moderate, hard, or very hard. And then there is a breakdown on what that sort of means. You guys could read that here. So the Hemorrhage status effect was reworked. Most of you don't know what Hemorrhage did. If you guys got ever hit with Sloppy Butcher, you might realize that you had Mangled, and that reduced the speed at which you healed, but Hemorrhage is different. Hemorrhage used to make you just bleed more, which was only really good if you were running perks that let you see blood better, or if you really needed extra tracking. Not great. So they've changed this. Now, if you are hemorrhaged, your healing progress regresses if you don't finish that heal, right? So in some cases, you would find survivors that are running resilience, and they would 99% their heal so they can maintain their resilience, and then they would just pop the last 1% before they get in a chase. If you are hemorrhaged, your healing regresses at a rate of 7% out of 100 per second, so that means a 99% full heal would take 14 seconds to empty. So this is going to essentially buff Sloppy Butcher and buff perks of that nature, but it's also going to buff Nurse's Calling sort of inadvertently. You're, as a killer, going to want to interrupt people that are healing, and if you could do so after applying the status effect, then you're going to be in a more potent position to waste more survivor time. Now be careful, obviously, with camping and tunneling and things like that, because you might end up wasting more of your own time with BT, D-Strike, things like that. Sloppy Butcher, the Nightmare Z-Block add-on have been modified to take the new effect into account, and they're going to list, I think, all the add-ons below. There's also quite a few other add-ons. So it is worth noting that Boil Over was nerfed. So the effectiveness of the wiggling went down from 100% to 80%. So this is just a quality of life change. To be honest, it kind of makes sense. The problem with Boil Over and wiggling is that movement as a killer on controller specifically is not quite what it is on PC. So that's something they need to look at. Boon Circle of Healing, nerfed, increases the healing speed bonus by 50%. It was 75%. So this is effectively a 25% nerf. And this is something we've talked about ad nauseum before on Twitter. I'm not really concerned on people disagreeing with me on this, but Circle of Healing is still one perk that the entire team gets to use, and it is still a bonus speed. So that is in addition to medkits. That is in addition to, botany knowledge and all these other things. So increasing your healing speed bonus by 50% is much faster than self-care still. And again, it is still one perk the entire team gets to use. So now they just need to make it so that killers can see the blue glowy aura of a Boon, and it'll be an effective spot. So Sloppy Butcher, Hemorrhage Rework, of course, increases the rate at which healing progression is lost by 15, 20, or 25%. So yes, this is good. The add-on, the Z-Block, that has been changed as well. The Legion now has unique terror radius and chase music. Of course, they've talked about that before. These are modified by the Legion mixtape add-ons. So if you saw their trailer on Twitter, you may have seen that their chase music changes depending on what mixtapes you're running. If you're running multiple mixtapes, if you're running just one. So it's very interesting. This is a new feature. Each successful hit with the Feral Slash increases the Legion's movement speed by plus 0.2 meters per second. Now that might seem like a weird number, right? Think of it this way: 4.6 meters a second is 115%. So effectively, if you hit 2 people, you're going at 5 meters a second, right? So you do the math, you figure that out. So it's not bad. This is going to help Legion close the gap between survivors. I know as a survivor what happens is if I know a Legion is in feral frenzy and I know they've hit somebody and I think they're running towards me, I will run so early that they waste their entire frenzy just to get to me if they make it. So this will help with that. I still think that I'm interested to see how this pans out. So after 4 successful hits with Feral Slash, the next Feral Slash will put the survivor into the dying state and end Feral Frenzy. So the interesting thing about this is you'll have to hit 4 survivors. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all mending, whatever. It just seems like the 5th one will down somebody. It doesn't really matter if the 5th one is on somebody who is already mended. So really, you'll be able to hit 4 people and then just double tap the last person. This is going to be really important at a low level and a medium level of play. I think a lot of survivors are going to find that this isn't fun when they're at a low to medium level of play, but that's not really a killer problem. That's more of a stop grouping up and healing all of the time problem, and I think that that's the barrier for entry that maybe survivors will be able to overcome fairly easily. That seems like that makes sense in my head. We'll see how it goes. When Feral Frenzy ends, the power gauge now starts charging immediately. It used to charge after cooldown. Yeah, so it'd wait for the fatigue sequence. The fatigue has also been shortened to 3 seconds instead of 4. And then the great number of add-ons have been changed. So, I'm not going to go over all of these. We'll be able to talk about them more in stream on Twitch. I will say that the iridescent button, they removed the terror radius entire map sort of effect from the Eerie button. That's really important to know. I hated that add-on as a survivor. It was not great. As a killer, it did give you good tracking, but it didn't end up like really amounting to much. So they did kind of rework the Eerie button and some of these other things. So we'll be able to go over all these. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, of course. Survivors who self-mend a deep wound from Feral Frenzy are inflicted with Hemorrhage, so that's important to talk about, right? Stuff like that. So there's just a lot going into this. They do say this update for Legion leans into their signature, running really fast with a knife, which is why I don't enjoy playing as Legion, but the stacking movement speed from Feral Strike gives a better reward for each hit, and they now have a way to down survivors at the end of a great chain. Add-ons have also seen a major overhaul to provide more variety of playstyles, so which is good. The add-on passes lately have been pretty good for almost any killer that has gotten them, so kudos there. Now, Ghostface, I think, is kind of not a good rework. I don't think it's a rework really at all. I think it barely really talks about what Ghostface needs. So let's talk about it. Ghostface can no longer be revealed by marked survivors. Survivors who you have fully stalked. They can no longer reveal you while you're chasing them. Marked now lasts for 60 seconds. It was 45 seconds previously. The Ghostface now has unique terror radius and chase music, which I'm really excited about. New chase music for Ghostface. Like that's all I care about, really. Just get me in there. Review the technical implementation of the stalk and reveal mechanics. So this is really important. A lot of people have said for a long time that the reveal mechanics have been buggy or inconsistent, I think is the term I like to use, where it doesn't sometimes make sense, where you're like, okay, I'm looking at him, but he's not revealed, but sometimes I don't even know he's on my screen and I revealed him. I don't understand. It seems like they've probably dialed this in. We're going to be in the PTB today, taking a look at, like, is it really fixed up? And we'll take a look. So hop on over to Twitch. Fix an issue that could lead some players revealed to be ignored completely when multiple survivors are revealing at the same time. So there was a bug where multiple survivors trying to reveal would it just didn't happen, right? So bugs were fixed. Reveal progress will now regress over a short time when a survivor loses sight of Ghostface and resume when revealing starts again. Previously, losing sight of Ghostface for a single frame would cause all reveal progress to be lost. Now this I don't love, right? Because revealing Ghostface is, if it's more consistent and a little bit harder to do, sure. But my problem here is it almost feels too easy to accidentally reveal Ghostface. So it's weird that there is sort of this hidden bar of like, oh, you're revealing him. Oh, he dipped away. Oh, no, his back, it's back. I'm conflicted on whether, like, I understand this for a consistency reason exists, but revealing him is really hard for him as a killer. So added in differentiation of the sighting zone. The zone in your screen where the target must be to be revealed or stalked for killers and survivors to better account for the differences between first and third person cameras. Made it possible to reveal Ghostface stalk survivors when they are not in the center of the screen, but still take up a large amount of the screen. So this is interesting. You'll be able to stalk survivors when they're crouched right at your feet. This previously was a big thing. Survivors would just run up to you and crouch, and like it was a lot harder to stalk them. You're basically looking all the way down, and it wouldn't work. So it seems like they've kind of widened this up. Simultaneously, you could be revealed that way as well. Fix some issues which cause the stalk reveal sighting zone to scale incorrectly on non-16:9 resolutions. So this mostly seems like a bug fix pass to work on the reveal mechanic consistency. I do want to talk about real briefly how I don't think that these two changes are going to be good. Ghostface not being revealed by marked survivors is not usually that big of a deal. To be honest with you, maybe in the early game, but towards the late game, Ghostface gets weaker because as survivors start doing gens, they're going to start clogging up and grouping on gens. So unless you're revealing two people at once, which could be the case, I could be completely wrong, but unless you're marking multiple survivors at once, and then you can't be revealed, this seems like this is not going to be a huge change, right? It is nice that if you catch somebody off on their own and you stalk them up, you're not going to have a red stain and they can't do anything to change that. I do like that intrinsically. And I do like that mark now lasts for 60 seconds. The problem is Ghostface is an M1 killer. So if a survivor does pay just enough attention, they run very, very early. They get to a pallet, they pre-throw the pallet, they get to another pallet, they pre-throw that. It almost feels very, very, very easy for survivors just to burn enough time. We'll kind of see stalking takes a lot of time for you to intrinsically do, and in the process of stalking, you used to be revealed quite easily. So I worry that the amount of time you still have to invest into stalking is not paid back within these 15-second buff. We'll see what happens. I could be completely wrong, but it's made Ghostface tough. At a low level or a medium level, if you feel like Ghostface is too strong, it may be important to realize that at a higher level, Ghostface is incredibly weak. And that's just a differential in skill, and that happens, and that's fine. Not everybody is taking this game that seriously, and that's okay. In terms of the archives, changed instances. Oh, hold on. Let's go back. Look, all of these have been reworked. We're going to be talking about them in stream because there's a lot of them, and they're very important. So all the add-ons we'll be talking about later. The archives changed instances of Roman numerals and tome names to Arabic numerals in all related contexts. Reworked the description text of glyph challenges and dual role challenges to make them consistent and clearer. The engine update, the PTB download sizes are going to be changed again so that they are, this is a much larger download initially, but again, when this rolls out, future updates should be smaller. So, and then there's just a lot of bug fixes. I know this was a lengthier reading of all the patch notes, but I figured it was very, very important. Please note, the shape cannot continue to stalk after reaching, or can continue to stalk after reaching evil within 3. Super weird. The health bar outro animation is missing upon depleting a med kit while healing yourself when under hemorrhage. Keep that in mind. In Haddenfield, downing a survivor next to a fence prevents the killer from picking up the survivor. So that is a known problem. Be aware of that, and please, survivors, do not exploit that problem. That being said, we're going to be live on Twitch today. I hope that I read this thoroughly, but also quickly, and we're also going to have a short TikTok up that talks about this as well. So hope to see you at twitch.tv/DyllonKG. Remember, get your water and clench your jaw, and I'll be praying to the entity to see you over there in stream.